What's going on, everybody? BSG bringing you another Grand Cross video. I made a lot of videos in my own account box lately, and that's mainly because a lot of people have been, asking about the game and just pretty much trying to re-educate themselves on a lot of things. So I'm gonna just be making a couple more videos, maybe like 2 or 3 more depending, but I'm just gonna be re-explaining certain things about the game. And this is genuinely to help people. This isn't, this isn't me fishing for views or anything like that. This is to help people who just started the game or are coming back. Obviously, if you are a veteran player, you know about gear. You don't need to watch this video. You know about gear. But if you're a new player, you haven't played at all, or you're just coming back, there might be certain things you have questions on. And one of the big questions about gear is, how do I gear units? That is the #1 question about gear in this game. And it's not hard. Gear, honestly, in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross is probably, when you think about it, one of the simple things about the game. It's not to get the gear itself to where you want it to be. It's gonna take time, but it's not hard. It's not a hard process. It's annoying and grindy like everything in this game, but it's not impossible, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go over gear and certain gear sets you can place on characters, because that's, again, like I said, the #1 thing that people question with gear. So if you look at the units in my box, I have pretty much all units in the game except for a few down here that I'm missing. Some of these you can't even get without being top 100. But yeah, so pretty much I have a lot of units, pretty much all of them. And gear for most of these units, I'll be honest, it's pretty simple. Now the thing about gear is it's very, very hard to do multiple gear sets for the same character. And what I mean by that is I'll go down to my Zell, for example. I have 2 sets of gear for Zelders. I think Zelders is the only unit in the game that I have 2 sets for. I think so. I love Zelders. Zelders is one of my favorite characters in the entire series, so I have 2 sets for him. This 2 sets that I have are HP and defense for the festival Zelders, and then I made attack and crit a long time ago for the blue Zeldris. So I made HP and defense for, I think, the red Zeldris actually, and then I just gave it, obviously Zeldris shares the same thing with Zeldris. And then I made attack and crit for the blue version when he was useful, and now I have 2 sets. So making 2 sets, it's very, very time consuming, and it takes a lot of material and gold to do. So I don't personally recommend people to do that, just because I know how lengthy it can be. But if you want to, you certainly can. I'm not trying to stop anybody from making 2 gear sets. I just don't recommend it to newer players or returning players, that's all. Alright, sorry I had to make a cut, but like I was saying, I don't recommend giving 2 gear sets to people. I just don't really, think that for newer players that should be a priority at all when focusing on gear. And for returning players, I think you should focus on 1 set of gear that's very good for that certain character. But there are characters that can benefit from both, actually. So Zelders, again, he benefits kind of from both. HP and defense is his most optimal set, and really with HP and defense, you want to give it to characters that are pretty much primarily support, or if you want to push CC. If you want to push team CC, you definitely can do HP and defense. But if you're more like, if you have characters that are primarily attack based, obviously you want to do attack and defense or attack crit respectively. But Zeldris here benefits from both. For HP and defense, he pushes CC because he's a 4-slot unit pretty much. He's a 4-slot unit, so you're never going to really use him on the battlefield unless a unit dies and then he drops down. But he can benefit from attack and crit damage because of his cleave card. So he is actually a unit that can benefit from both, right? So he has attack and crit, and again, cleave deals additional damage equal to 75%. Yeah, 75% of crit damage. So the more crit damage he has, the stronger his cleave card is going to be, and he benefits from both. So that's why it works with him. But you can even do HP and crit damage. In fact, I would probably recommend HP and crit damage because you want to push CC, and he does have a pretty high CC value. So Zeldris is one of those characters that benefits from it. Now, if you're more so looking to gear, let's say you're trying to gear Estarossa, he's a really good example of this too. Gearing Estarossa, when he first dropped, I gave him attack and defense because I thought that would be the best option for him. At the time, you could have argued that, but as the game progressed and he's aged, I definitely would say HP and defense is the way to go for Estarossa, because Estarossa is going to be a backline unit, and you're going to need him to have, you know, decent amount of CC in order for you to either, if you want to go first or you want to do a stance team, whatever the case may be, you just want him to push CC as high as possible. You could do attack and defense. It honestly, it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna matter too much with attack and defense really, because he's not gonna deal much damage. He's gonna deal damage right with his full counter, but I don't know if the trade-off for attack and defense for Estarossa is actually worth it. I actually really don't. I would say HP and defense if you're looking to build if you're looking to build Estarossa, HP and defense. But like I said, giving gear to the respective unit can be a little tricky. You just have to really look at the kit of the unit overall. If the like I said, if the unit is basically attack based, you want to give them attack and defense or attack crit respectively. If you know they're just here for support, they don't do much damage, and you just want to push CC, then HP and defense is the way to go. For example, this Gother right here, he benefits from HP and defense because he has no attack. His one attack card is strong. It can be very good, but most of the time you're just using him for this debuff in his ult, and I'm telling you right now, his ultimate is one of the weakest ultimates in the game by far. It's not even close. It scales off of his max HP, which again, another reason why you want to build him with HP and defense, because his ultimate does scale off of it. But the problem is it's so low, like the multiplier is 8% on 1 out of 6. That's horrible. I forget exactly what it is at 6 out of 6. I believe it's either like, is it 30 or 40? I can't remember exactly what it is, but it doesn't get much higher to the point where it's like, oh my god, attack and defense is the way for him. No, HP and defense for sure. Of course, he has a passive where he increases his attack and HP for all allies whenever an ally uses a skill. I think this is one of the most like underrated passives in the game for sure, because this can help a lot. If you use Gother as a just straight up support, you will actually be getting a lot from this passive, because you're getting 20% attack related stats boost and you're getting a 10% boost to your max HP. I think it's underrated. You can use it everywhere too. I think honestly, I think Festival Gother might be the most underrated unit in the game. I really do, at least for top tier units. I think he is, because he does a lot. He actually does a lot. The only thing is he was made for Margaret, so his debuff skill only really affects buff skills, but at rank 2 it disables ultimate skills, so that's why it's good. And it also has blockade as well. So I really think that he is an underrated unit, just because he doesn't, I guess you could say shine, right? I guess you could say he doesn't shine as bright as other festival units, but I think he's one of the best. I do think he's one of the best units in the game for sure. All right, so talking about gear again, yeah, so it just depends on the actual unit itself. So like Trader Melee, you definitely want to run it with attack and crit to prioritize his you know, attack power. You want to prioritize his attack power when using this unit. A lot of people run him with HP and defense, like in the higher ranges of PvP, because they push CC. Pushing CC, obviously you want him to have, you know, a HP and defense set so you can go first, but optimally attack and crit is probably the way for Melee, just because he's always buffing himself. As long as he has good support single target characters, he's always buffing himself. So you're gonna see these numbers right here just shoot up really high. You use him with a support unit like Green Gother on the team or something like that, you're gonna see a massive damage buff from him. You really want to build him with attacking crit. You could say the same, I guess, for all other melees as well. Because most of the melees in the game just deal damage. They don't do anything besides damage. Like, truth be told, all of these melees just try and deal damage. They don't, like, they're not supporting the team really. They're not doing much else but just damage, raw damage. Especially like these two with their ults. Yeah, you want to definitely do attack and like crit damage for these two. These 3 demon melees, when they first dropped each and every one of them, they were just pure damage units, like just purely damage. They did nothing else, just literally damage. And they have weak point ult, so Yeah, and assault melee, same thing. Attack and crit damage is the way for him as well. Again, like I said, it just depends on the unit, guys. And when you talk about substats is a big one, so I guess I'll get into that. Substats on units, it depends again on the unit's kit. So you can see I have crit chance and then crit damage on my Bond, and you can see how low his CC is. But if I were to put this as attack, it would go up like maybe to 62k. If I perfect rolled it. But the reason why I have attack or crit damage and then crit chance is because Bond substats are very good, substats. His crit damage nowadays, it could be better. I'm not gonna lie, it could be a lot better. But Bond is going almost what, a year old, or maybe he is a year old. I can't remember when he dropped exactly on JP, but he has very good substats regardless. So that's why I put crit chance and crit damage on him. You could do just like straight attack or whatever, but the thing about his attack is that it doesn't really matter too much because he deals damage based on his max HP. So his max HP is the main thing you want to take into account, which is why you always build him with HP whatever. No matter what, Purgatory Bond is just a character you always will build with HP and defense, or HP and crit, whatever the case may be. I have him at HP defense because of CC wise, but if you want to build it with HP and crit, yeah, sure. Him going first on his respective team does not matter at all. He's just one of those, like, he's just a unit, and his team is just a team that just goes second. It is what it is. So you could run him with crit damage like pieces. Would that be? I think actually that might be more optimal for his damage. Yeah. Defense, I mean, it's not terrible because it'll help him live, but I mean, he has so much max HP on his team anyway. With the units that we have nowadays, they're gonna kill him. But like before, it just he was like God. Like he was actually just God. He still is a menace, but I don't want to say he's like. I don't want to say I don't know, maybe he is still God. I don't know, but yeah, Bond is just one of those units you want to build with HP and HP defense, HP crit, and then crit damage or crit chance sub rolls work for him. Definitely could do attack. I'm trying to think of another unit. I have a couple. Brunhild is a unit that just came to mind. I don't know, there's not too many units I have different substats with, but she's a unit that just popped up in my head. So Brunhild, right? We go to Brunhild, attack and defense. She's just demonic beast unit, that's it. She's nothing else. So for her, I actually built her for her substats for attack. I built her with attack and crit chance because for the big bird at the time, there was no other unit that was doing it like Brunhild. I'm gonna be real, there was no other unit that was just doing it like her. So at the time, I built her with a crit chance and I think half crit chance and attack, which kinda hurt me because I should have just maybe built her with full crit chance so she would deal more crits, but it's okay now. Like, it doesn't really matter nowadays. So you could build her with full crit chance and it wouldn't hurt at all. Actually, I would recommend you building her with full crit chance for the demonic beast, because again, you literally cannot use her in anything else but demonic. Like you actually can't. I'm serious. Like, you actually cannot use her but anything in the demonic beast. Or you can use her like I guess you could use her in like battle events or certain special bosses that come out for celebrations. But demonic beast, she's demonic beast fodder. So yeah, that's why I have substats on her like that. Sario is another unit that came to mind. So for Sario, I have crit damage. I have half attack and half crit damage. Okay, so the reason for that is because when he came out at the time, his crit chance was very good, and he had very good, very good crit damage just base. So I just gave him more. Now you could argue you could give him crit chance for. I don't know, man. You could argue you could go like crit chance and crit damage because his crit chance is horrendous. Like, it is actually terrible. 65% chance to crit. That's like a death sentence now in PvP. If a modern day unit that relied on crit damage had 65 at bait, like fully maxed, my bad, fully maxed out cosmetics and everything like that, right? If they came out now with 65% crit chance, No. Like, and if they relied on crit damage, it just is a death sentence. You're dead. But he's a unit that at the time I put crit damage because he was just critting and critting and critting. He did not stop. This man was a menace. But now he fell off of PvP a little bit. Still good, still really good, especially with his holy relic. He's still amazing. I like Zario. He's still amazing, but he fell off of PvP. That's it. And the thing that hurts him a little bit is they didn't do anything with his crit chance for his holy relic. They pretty much just said if he crits, he gets more crit damage, or if he crits, he gets more basic stats increase. But like I said, 65% crit chance is not good. Nowadays it's not cutting it, because you look at units that can't come out and they have their, they have crit maybe not. He's not probably a good example of this, but like, let's do Rimuru, right? He has 86% crit resistance, so that can, obviously that's going to counter hit Zario's crit chance or whatever. But yeah, units nowadays just have ridiculous amounts of crit chance or crit resistance and crit defense, because they literally know that units that rely on crit damage are very, very good. So they want to counter that by giving them a lot of crit resistance and crit defense. So that wraps up the video pretty much. There's not much else to talk about when doing gear. Let me know in the comments if I missed something, if you want me to explain or elaborate on anything else further. I don't really think, again, like I said, gear isn't terrible when you're trying to do it for units. You just got to think about the unit's kit and their respective purpose for whatever you're about to play or do or whatever. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I would greatly appreciate it. And you guys already know, as always, I will see you all later.